Welcome to Cyberpunk Edgerunners, where we begin with this cyber dude approaching the police and proceeding to blow their fucking head off, starting off strong. He has a little firefight with the rest of the police. Can't really call it a fight though, because he is just completely shitting on them. You think after seeing so many of your boys getting eviscerated, you would, I don't know, run, but apparently run ain't a word in Cyberpunk. He does some crazy time-stop Dio shit, continuing to clean up shop, until out of the sky comes some elite-looking motherfucking dudes, who are doing much better at submitting him. They get him on the ground, point a shotgun in his face, and pull the trigger. Cut to this kid geeking out on his sofa. Apparently that was like a VR experience, pretty nifty. Oh yeah, that's not going on YouTube. He's doing some laundry and shit, never mind, he's too broke for laundry as the machine denies him. We see his mum waking up, sleeping from a night shift. Yeah, so pretty much they're broke. Like, broke. Peak for my man, as he needs some update shit for school, but can't get that either, saying Doc handled it instead, whoever Doc is. Mum's trying to make ends meet, working as a paramedic, who David, as we now know, sees her working on TV. He heads out for school, and as he leaves, we see his mum with some nifty looking tech, as she picks up a call. David walks to school with some fire music in the background, as we see all the wonderful sights in Night City. All the places we see her in the game, which is also fire by the way. Anyway, whilst walking, he sees some bad bitch. He tries to talk to her, but she vanishes. He arrives at some prestigious ass looking school, and the school AI or some shit calls out David for his incorrect fit, and he gets bullied by his fellow classmates for it, calling him a broke ass bitch. As they begin class, this doc update fries the school system. Now in front of the principal, David's mum Gloria apologizes for the incident. The principal lays it out and says he ain't the best fit for the school, but his mum pleads for his continued attendance. I mean, the shit's impressive that she's been affording it up to now anyway. What's this, like the fucking Harvard of Edgerunners? We then see them in the car as they argue about money problems. Gloria ends up hyping up David, saying he's going to get to the top of Arasaka Tower, when suddenly a shootout happens, with them stuck right in the middle. The car flips and David and his mum are left stranded in the wreckage by the first aiders, because in this city, if you broke, that means your life worthless. Cut to David at some cheap ass doctors waiting for his mother to come out of surgery. The doc comes out and says she still needs a few days and gives him her shit. He tries to get home but can't because the rent's due and it locks him out, so he forces his way in through the vents. He ends up looking through his mum's stuff and sees the nifty looking tech, telling Doc about it and asking for a price. A price he gets, he does not agree with.
A Sandevistan.
A Sandevistan, eh? That's an awesome name. He checks it out and is surprised by its military specs. Cut to him out and about getting caught lacking by his classmates. They continue to bully his ass, calling him broke, a broke ass bitch, a broke ass motherfucking bitch, and telling him to quit the school. David isn't falling for the rage bait though until he mentions his mum, calling her a prostitute, leading him to try and fight him, but he kind of gets completely obliterated by the classmate's superior fighting tech. David goes back to the doc to hear his mother has died, too broke for the service needed to save her life. He ends up collecting her in a fucking can. That's some brutal shit. With nothing left, he wanders back home and starts absolutely tweaking out whilst getting a call from the classmate that beat his ass. God, this guy's gotta perish. Cut to Dr. Ripper, with David banging at his door, asking to install the Sandevistan into him.
High time I chrome the fuck up.
Fuck yes. Alright, episode 2 starts with Doc reluctant to install the Sandevistan into David, but ends up agreeing, saying, when you beg to rip it off, I get that shit for free. He slaps that shit in there, and David pulls up to class on smoke and immediately sparks out that classmate. Now with his Sandevistan implanted, that classmate is no match for David as he slumps him into a wall. Amazing crash out, much enjoyment seeing that. The classmate whines like a little bitch as we cut to David back at home looking pretty empty. Some Arasaka high-ups rewatch the footage and notice the high-tech Sandevistan, saying how impressive his cyber tolerance is for handling the insane device. And they want him for some research. Back to David lugging around the house looking empty as fuck. He goes back out again, a lot slower this time. God, what the fuck is he going to do without his mom now? That was literally like all he had. On board a train, he spots that bad bitch with the pretty hair again, snatching chips from people. As she tries to snatch his chip, he stops her using the Sandevistan, causing her to pull him aside and ask his deal. Checking him out, she notices his Sandevistan and suggests a team up.
We'll split the haul, 80-20.
What? Fuck that.
Fuck that, I agree. David asks for a 60-40, gets 70-30, good enough, beggars can't be choosers. She introduces herself as Lucy as they begin. This shit is a piece of cake for David and his Sandevistan, as he dips, hops and skips about grabbing all the chips. They eventually fuck off and Lucy gives a performance review as David passes the fuck out. He wakes up in an ambulance from Sandevistan overuse. She laughs, realizing his tolerance for the tech, but the doctor ends up pulling a Glock, wanting the Sandevistan for herself. God damn, this shit is wanted a lot. I guess like military grade tech, but like, holy fuck, even the doctor wants it. Anyway, Lucy then kicks open the door and rides David, out and into the street. I love a crazy woman. They end up back at Ripper Doc, getting taunted for overusing the Sandy, needing some like suppression pills, which Lucy pays for. How nice of her. The doc says chill out on the Sandy or become cyberpsychotic. David leaves with Lucy as they sit and have a little chat, agreeing to continue working together tomorrow. However, David still needs rent, and so Lucy takes him to her place. Come on David, first day already back at her place, that's my boy. David tries a beer, folds, gets laughed at.
Edgerunners?
Hey, that's the name of the show. Fuck, she's so bad. They yap more about the moon in David's school, saying how much his mum wanted him to do well in life, you know, reach the tip of that Arasaka tower. Lucy explains she wants to leave Night City and shows him some cool ass moon simulator, gravity and all. This tech is so fire, bro. I hope I can stick around to see some insane shit be made like this. They mingle about for a bit with, oh god, not this song. Don't get me wrong, this shit's beautiful, despite the PTSD I get from it.
You fell over the edge, punk.
Turns out he got played, as he gets ripped out of the simulator by some big ass dude and gets socked in the face, ending episode 2. Wow, very cool. Lucy's bad as fuck. Sorry, what? Episode 3 opens with David waking up after getting folded, seeing 2 dudes and a gal standing over him, wondering what to do with him. This big guy really wants the San Devistan, as apparently it's his, saying Gloria was going to give it to him. David explains his connection with Gloria and her death. The big guy says what the fuck, but still gives him his condolences. David asks to keep it, saying he will pay off by working for them. Big dude says fuck off, but Lucy gives him props, talking about his tech tolerance. And David showing it off earns their impression, and they agree for 1 gig. All or nothing, babe, let's do it. David is a little butthurt about Lucy's betrayal and heads home. Cut to David getting a school thing. He got a scholarship back to the school, but let's be honest, he doesn't give a fuck now. He's got some boys. Gets a call from who we now know as Maine, saying he's up. It's his time to shine. Alright, let's get this out of the way. We got Big Boy Maine, Kiwi, Hiller, Dorio, and of course, Lucy. Anyway, the gig is to grab data from an Arasaka Elite's car. David needs to grab a key whilst he's drunk at a bar. Holy shit, that rhymed. That shit was flames. Meanwhile, this girl Becca is distracting him. David gets the car keys and gets in the car with Lucy as she begins to steal the data. The dude catches up to them though, compromising them, forcing David to drive despite never having driven before. He fucking sends that bitch, agreeing to take it to Aldo's, wherever that is, as 2 motorcyclists start to chase him down. David hits some insane maneuvers using the San Devistan. That's some crazy tech, bro, the hell. Tripping up one of the bikers, hitting some more clean jukes, folds the second one as well. They successfully make it to Aldo's, but one of the bikers catching up. They have a little scuffle as Maine saves his life. God, this guy is fucking sick. He hits him with a mean punch before absolutely obliterating him with a literal fucking hand cannon. Now at a party, Maine gives David credit and lets him in the gang full time. Fuck yeah, David. He gets a paycheck as well for the first time, with Maine saying he might have to chrome up more if he wants to survive. All of a sudden, this mean-looking Arasaka motherfucker pulls up, pissed at Maine for the improvised gig, saying the plan got fucked up because they got caught. I mean, from what I saw, they did a fantabulous job, but whatever. He says that they now got to wait around till the heat dies down. Maine explains to David that that was Faraday, essentially the guy who hired them, their boss. All good though, as the vibe returns to the party. David stares longingly at Lucy a bit until Becca, aka Rebecca, introduces herself to David. I think that's the whole gang, unless I'm missing anyone. Call from the principal again, but he says fuck off, as his edge running adventures have just gone started, as episode 3 ends. Alright, we ain't wasting no time now. Episode 4 starts with David in a daze, while his other crewmates appear frantic, when suddenly an explosion rings out. Cut to a bar, late at night. We got Maine and Dorio trying to find the guy they stole the car from, aka Tanaka. Maine tries to get some. Gets smacked, he ends up getting some romance. When David calls, kinda cock-blocking him, peak times. Anyway, he's calling about more gigs, because he wants more experience / training to not be like a liability. Yeah, my boy ain't trying to be nothing but a menace. We then see David pulling up to Aldo because Maine sent him. Aldo gives him props for pulling off the gig, giving him a package meant for Pilar. David strolls past his new ops, the cops, and opens the door to a Glock in his face by Rebecca. He gives the package to her brother, Pilar. They're siblings? What the fuck? They're like some cool gloves or some shit. Anyway, they do some family bonding. What the hell? She re-ups his money and he gets a call from Lucy asking if he's free. My boy is in. Lucy said that Maine set this up because he was whining about work to him. Lucy kind of violates his build, saying any more cyber enhancements might fuck him up. Alright, we have a little like training montage starting off with a cheeky gig with the gang. We see David asking Lucy about her net running skills mid-run exercise. More gig stuff, getting into whole lots of trouble. Bar, drinks, Maine giving David lessons and advice about edge running, giving him his very own strap. Oh, look how quickly he grows up. Bit of driving practice. Oh, he needs a bit more driving practice. Well, not showing that. They're doing some more net running business. Maine gives David advice, this time about Lucy and their relationship, which they conversate further about. Quick chip stealing spree, punching lessons with Dorio. VR vibe time. Pretty sure it's called a brain dance. Basically, shit's a whole vibe for David right now. He's getting a true feel for the edge running life. Some more crazy ass deals. Rebecca's fucking hosted or some shit. Lucy killing spree. Maine thumbs up everywhere. David's talking about Lucy's desire for the moon with Maine. Lucy and David talk about his progression and is beginning to cybernetically enhance, starting with a little running buff for his time with Lucy. Little bro fist bump. He's really starting to fit in. Now we're at a junkyard. Pilar is getting rage baited by some guy pissing in front of them. The gang kind of lets him get rage baited until the guy blows his fucking head off. Holy shit, what the fuck? Back to the scene from the start. David is dazed, seeing Pilar now missing a head, and this piss guy seems to have gone a bit cyberpsychotic. In San Devastan time, Maine kicks him away from a missile, while Rebecca crashes out over her brother's murder. Maine's tech is still freaking out, while this guy is still going nuts, leading David to step up, pull up, and shoot, eliminating the threat, until Maine with the final blow from downtown, following a bit of BM by Rebecca. Fuck, that shit came out of nowhere. Gang reconciles, with them splitting to sort the inevitable cop mess and Lucy's injury, which David goes to Ripperdoc for the latter. They go on a drive and back to her place when David asks to talk. They go back out, where Lucy confesses that their moon brain dance was genuine, which she never showed anyone else before. They bond a bit more until David promises
I'm gonna take you there myself, fly you to the moon.
to kiss under the bright moonlight, ending the episode. Fuck yeah, my goat David stepping up the ladder, solidifying his place as a true Edgerunner, and securing Lucy, in one great ass episode. Episode 5 beginneth, with Maine trying to get David to use Pilar's gloves now that he's dead. You obviously can't use them, but David refuses, saying it ain't in his desire. However, Maine promises that if he dies, David can use his hand cannon, and also realizes that him and Lucy fucked. Hell yeah! Kiwi pulls up and says she can't find Tanaka. They realize David's connection to his son, which was the classmate from the school, you know, the one that like bullied him and he kicked the shit out of, yeah, that was Tanaka's son. As well as this, they realize a connection to an illegal brain dance maker, JK, who David recognizes from the first scene we saw in episode 1. That's the brain dance we saw with the guy getting killed by Max Tech. Anyway, now they know Tanaka will be with JK in person, allowing Maine and the gang to form a plan and snatch his ass. They put this plan into formation, with David pretending to be a massive JK fan. Maine sneaks up on him, but he hits some crazy techno conqueror's haki and knocks him out, driving off with David. Dorio smacks Maine awake, and she and Lucy go off to grab David back from JK. David wakes up to a mangled corpses, him freaking out, shooting cops and running, shooting more on the way whilst they label him a cyber psycho. The fuck, did I miss something? Hello? Max Tech pulls up, shoots the fucking shit out of him whilst he grows machines or some shit. But they do the whole shotgun point blank shit, blow his ass up, when turns out it's a brain dance, which JK gave him unconsensually. They have a little talk about David having seen his work before, he did, and JK reveals that the man who we saw in episode 1 was James Norris, the original San Devastan wielder. JK says he knows David's fate, saying eventually he too will become cyberpsychotic, just like James. David refuses that fate when Dorio busts the door down, forcing JK to surrender as Lucy frees David. Suddenly, armed drones swarm the trio, with JK talking all calm and casual, thinking he's won. Lucy tries to hack the drones as David distracts him with his preem dodging abilities. Eventually Lucy destroys them. JK actually surrenders, with Dorio reluctant to keep him alive for the info they need. Maine, now in front of JK, tells David to watch him. They talk, with JK still pressing David about his eventual fate. David denies, saying,
I'm built different.
Damn fucking right you are. Now we cut to Tanaka himself pulling up to the JK bait, with JK reeling him in until Maine pops in with the rest of the gang, holding him hostage. Tanaka tries to call some backup, but Kiwi and Luki deny that shit. Tanaka suddenly pops off with his cyber enhancements, catching Maine lacking as again his tech fails. He starts beating the brakes out of Maine when David steps in, allowing him to sort him out. JK's luck runs out and one of the needles Tanaka fired hits him in the throat. He stares at David, laughs and dies. With Trauma Team on the way, they leave with Tanaka as episode 5 ends. David really got the short end of the stick in this one, but he still pulled his weight when he can. That's my boy. On to episode 6, where we begin with the desert, where we see a man running. Just running. He stops. Hey, he kinda looks like Maine. Cut to Dorio helping out Maine. She's concerned about his chrome fucking with his nerves. Maine starts tweaking out, saying he's fine. Oh god, he is not fine, is he? Meanwhile, Kiwi is trying to break into Tanaka's system, when Maine starts beating the fuck out of her for no reason. He snaps back into it, then gets knocked out again by the cowboy dude. Balco, I think. David and Lucy pull up to the situation. Maine frustrated with his sanity. Cyberpsychosis has begun to set in. David tries to talk to him, asking if he's alright. Yeah, this guy's not alright. Pimp slaps David into the wall and fucks off.
Can't stop running,
he says. Lucy's reluctant to finish the job with Tanaka and asks for David to inspire her to do it. Needing support from the goat, I get it. David shows her his belief. Lucy agrees, but only with David. Dorio agrees in order to keep this mission a-rolling. She also asks where Maine is, but he's here, but he's not here. He does come back as David and Lucy begin the Tanaka hack. She dives into his head on some proper Inception shit, as Main gets a call from Faraday asking for the data from Tanaka. Main says wait a sec because they're facing a couple technical difficulties, you could call them, and continues to tweak. Meanwhile, with Lucy and David, Tanaka wakes up. The shit becomes fucking chaos now as Dorio is trying to contain Main as David is about to put Tanaka back to sleep when Tanaka stunlocks him with info about his school. Hesitation is defeat, David. He yaps to David a lot. Holy shit, David, lock in. Your girlfriend is in his fucking head, remember? Lucy is still trying to take the information as David yaps to Tanaka about what he's going to do, with Tanaka saying that Arasaka will hunt him for the rest of his life for this situation. Main wakes up again and him and Dorio burst in as Tanaka self-destructs, threatening Lucy's life. Oh shit, this means trauma team's on the way. Lucy barely makes it out alive, Main slapping the shit out of David again, asking his fucking problem. David chats back, but with them knowing trauma team and the police are on the way, they make plans to dip, as David preps the car, taking Lucy with him. Remember, this trauma team is essentially a private military unit, and the police are coming, so this shit's about to go down. David talks to Lucy in the car, where Lucy reveals that there wasn't any data. Huh? Trauma team and the police busted, and shit gets real. Main and Dorio try to fight their way out, but Main starts going back to the desert. David runs his ass back to try to save them, with Lucy trying to stop him. Back to the fighting, this Main guy keeps flipping between the apartment and the desert, again and again and again, sometimes catching Dorio out as he sprays randomly. Dorio suddenly shoves Main out of the way of some bullet fire, with her ending up taking the fatal shot. Main is essentially James Norris now, an unstoppable, unthinking killing machine.
This mess my fault.
Holy fuck. Trauma team fucks off with their client dead. They got no reason to fuck with Main. He ain't letting them go that easily. Lucy warns David to run, saying Max Tech's been called and there's nothing he can do. David, now face to face with Main, sees his disrepair and begs to leave.
Reaper's finally calling my name.
Main has now seemingly accepted his fate. David, still wanting to fight, stands by his side before Main tells him,
This is it. It's the end of the line for me, but not for you. Fast is what you do best, ain't it? Just keep running.
as he blasts his cannon, setting off explosives just as Max Tech arrives. Hearing the explosion, Lucy desperately calls David until he suddenly appears in the car, in his arms, Main's chrome cannon arm, as he gives a look of great anguish, ending the episode. A truly tragic but glorious ending for an incredible character. The music at his end was phenomenal as well. Rest in peace, Main and Dorio. On to episode 7. Episode 7 starts in a car with Rebecca, David, and some Edgerunner newbie. This is going to be like some months time skip because David looks fucking massive. He hands the rookie a gun as they drive over to a gig. Rebecca kicking the shit out of the newbie Julio, whilst the cowboy Falco is driving them. His VA is McCree from Overwatch, if you don't know. That should surprise the fuck out of me. Anyway, Kiwi gives them info on how stacked the base they're about to raid is. I think it's like a rescue mission. They pull up on smoke, have a little standoff when Kiwi pops the AMP and the gang lets loose on him. David pops the arm cannon, Rebecca pops a dual shotty, and Kiwi hacks into their turrets as the gang soldiers on through to a big looking motherfucker. David steps up. Holy fuck, he's massive. And in San Devastan time, dodges that shit and blows his head open. Rebecca glazes his new implants whilst Julio runs ahead. All of a sudden, a trip mine goes off and he explodes. Well, that was a short-lived character. David rips open a container to find a bunch of people, and he finds the girl the fixer Wakako wanted back for this gig. They have another chill post-gig drink. David chats with Falco for a bit, saying how far he's come and how far he might go. Kiwi asks David where Lucy is, as apparently she left the gang and has been asking her to come back, but she refuses. Apparently the whole shit with Doria, Main got to her. Fair enough. Rebecca pulls up to talk, and shortly after David leaves for the Ripper Dock. Cut to Lucy in an ice bath doing some net running, I assume. Back to David at the Ripper Dock, asking for more upgrades. But the doc says to chill out a bit, saying it's kind of insane he's got all this chrome in him and is still sane. He then compares him to Adam Smasher. Oh buddy, do not get me started on Adam. Doc explains to David Adam Smasher's legendary status as an unstoppable 96% machine Arasaka soldier. 96% is fucking ridiculous. Is he just like permanently cyber psycho or some shit? Anyway, David gets a meeting with Faraday. Faraday talks about David's rise and Main's previous mission before he died. Faraday wants to be convinced that David is worthy of that mission and sends him a Militech test gig. David accepts. Faraday talks about the lack of data by Tanaka and wants Lucy back on the case, asking David again to get her back in the game. Back to David at home having a shower. Lucy pulls up. Holy fuck, she's butt naked. Post-production, you better not fuck up the censorship, I swear to god. They yap about David's new gig, with David again asking Lucy to join back, but she still needs more time. They go out on a drive, out far away from the city, and all the light pollution to stare at the stars. They have a nice chat as David prods her about her past. Lucy reveals that she used to be in an Arasaka child net running operation. Essentially, their goal as kids was to dive into the old net. The old net is apparently some network which perished like 50 years ago, Cyberpunk lore is awesome. You gotta check it out when you have the chance. Lucy yaps more about it, saying the old net dives were to look for undiscovered data, but rogue AIs would kill them over and over again for looking. They eventually escaped from the facility and never looked back since. As she's talking about it, David's arm starts bugging out. Fuck. He shrugs it off as Lucy finishes yapping by expressing her fears of his potential demise. Cut to a call about some test subject erased from Tanaka's records. We got this Arasaka agent saying he'll handle investigating it further. Till out of nowhere, Lucy appears and fries his shit clean, ending the episode. Shit was great. And with that, on to episode 8. We see an Arasaka lab late at night, where we got two scientists yapping about leaving cause the woman's got plans. A superior gives her a side quest to grab some shit and she can go, so she heads out to get it. Walks into David, freaking out when a dead scientist. Upon seeing her, David pulls out the Glock, shoots her and dips. He then goes back to the car with Kiwi and Rebecca. Seems he was doing another gig and they just happen to be like witnesses, peak times. Cut back to Arasaka Tower with high-ups talking about the lab break-in by David, as well as trying to find the netrunner who killed their agent, aka Lucy. They're trying to figure out how to find them, checking Militech links, and eventually discovering Faraday's connection to them. We cut to Faraday, suddenly ambushed while driving. Seems Arasaka wants him dead now, they know his involvement as their fixer. He runs to Militech asking for help, but they don't really care, saying fuck off till you have what we want, and leave. Cut to David in bed, watching TV, because he can't sleep. He yaps to Lucy a bit about moon travel prices. Fuck me, she loves being completely naked, doesn't she? Back to Faraday, talking to Arasaka, now that Militech has fucked him off. They have seemed to apparently forgiven him for his shit with Tanaka, only for information on David and Lucy the Netrunner, which Faraday is more than happy to help with. Back to Lucy calling Kiwi, asking about how David is. They talk about his business with Faraday, Kiwi saying he wants to see her back in the gang, more girl gossip. However, just as Lucy hangs up the phone, we see Faraday calling. Back to David and Rebecca, doing another gig, when all of a sudden David freezes up on a woman, getting flashbacks to the innocent scientist he killed, with Rebecca barely saving his ass in time. Rebecca saying, "The fuck was that?" Falco drops David off, and Rebecca follows him. Kiwi asking to be dropped off as well. Damn, this guy's a whole Uber. Rebecca asks to have a little walk. On it, she asks about his freeze up. David shrugs it off again. Rebecca says he should cut his chrome down a bit, saying she does not want David to wind up the same as her brother. Back to Lucy doing some more net running. I think she's sneaking around in cyberspace or some shit. Arasaka is still after them and they're getting closer and closer. Back to David at night, looking not so great. We see him staring at a photo of his mum. Suddenly we see him back at the lab, shooting the scientist when the scientist grows guns out of his mind, as well as the woman. Yeah, this is some fucked up shit. He's definitely going fucking cyber psychotic. He suddenly passes out at home. Now the Ripper Doc asks his symptoms.
Shaky hands, dizziness, nausea.
He calls it classic cyber psychosis, saying he needs to tone down the cyber tech, causing David to choke his ass out, demanding just more meds. Ripper Doc says take these and fuck off, predicting he won't even make it back for more. Lucy chases after David, asking what that was all about, but again he brushes her off. She pleads with him to lower his cyberware, but David rejects her wishes, saying Maine and Mom had a mission for him and he needs to keep going. Eventually, he confesses his trauma about killing the innocent woman. He thinks he's losing it. They talk more about her future in the gang and together. Lucy still wanting more time before she comes back. David gets a bit upset, wondering why she needs more time before she can join. And just as David asks for time apart, Lucy gets some like techno ping, now saying she immediately needs to go do something, and asks him to talk more, and she comes back. She goes out to hunt down another runner, like we saw in the last episode, when all of a sudden she gets knocked out. Turns out it was a setup by Faraday and Kiwi, you fucking bitch. Now starting episode 9, outside the city, with David talking about an Arasaka convoy and a $1 million credit gig to yoink some shit from it. The gang talks about how they're going to pull this off as David aura farms with an RPG. We then hear Kiwi and Faraday talking about the experimental cyber skeleton, and Lucy destroying Tanaka's data about wanting to use David for research on it. She was actually the one that killed Tanaka in order to ensure that info would never come out. Good shit, Lucy. Shame it didn't work out though, as we see her imprisoned with Faraday, as he glazes Kiwi, saying keep it up so we can get into Arasaka, promising her immunity and grand wealth. They also discuss plans to catch David as he starts calling him. We see David talking to the gang about the insane new gig he just got from Faraday. Obviously it's a trap, but he doesn't know that. Anyway, some decoy crew comes in. As the heist commences, the decoy crew gets obliterated, but the bait works, and the convoy splits, with the gang rolling out to chase him down. Back to David and Rebecca before the gig. David is in agony, with $1 million like suppression meds wrapped all around him, asking Rebecca for assistance. Back to the gig, with them fucking up one of the vehicles. David pops his Sandy, ignoring Rebecca, saying, "Don't even think about this %." Rebecca then slams some C4 on the main tank, doing fuck all. David pops the Sandy again. This guy's got a death wish, bro. On top of the tank now, he discovers it's driverless. as Faraday creams about how well the plan is going, saying Militech is now on the way because he leaked it, and that a fabulous test run of the cyberskeleton will occur, with David wielding it and using it against Militech. The tank is now barreling towards a cliff as David thinks how to open it, asking for a grapple hook from Falco's car. He pops a Sandy again, aura farms a bit, grabs the hook, wraps it around a rock, and flips the tank. Holy fuck, that was cool. Arasaka pulls up to Faraday, taking Lucy with them. David tries to call Lucy, but no answer. Falco thinks something's off as Kiwi continues to try to hack into and open the tank.
Wide open as it is out here, we'd be fishing the barrel if someone got the jump.
Sometimes foreshadowing is
relatively obvious.
as an entire armada of Militech vehicles barrel down the horizon, raining down hellfire upon the gang. Falco realizes they may have gotten set up as Kiwi conveniently cracks open the tank and reveals the military-grade cyberskeleton. Kiwi info dumps about his specs and lore, whilst Faraday laughs in the sky on a private jet. Faraday, now pretending to be Lucy, calls David and tricks him into using the cyberskeleton. Fuck, I gotta give it to him. That's a pretty smart plan, but still fuck you. David gets confused, saying she wouldn't say that, but with seemingly no options, he hops into that bitch, with Rebecca screaming at him the whole time. That shit digs into him, as Kiwi knocks out Falco and runs off. Fucking bitch. Lucy suddenly breaks out, jumps out, and calls David, saying Faraday set the whole thing up for Arasaka, before getting shocked again and going back in Faraday's capture. Faraday calls David, rage-baiting the shit out of him with Lucy, as he begins to boil. Rebecca, seeing he's about to go cyberpsychotic, pops some more suppressants, putting him back to normal. David locks in and says he's gotta go save Lucy, as Falco jumps in, revealing Kiwi's betrayal. Militech starts attacking as David unleashes the full force of the cyberskeleton.
It can generate unidirectional grav fields.
Unidirectional grav fields, what the fuck? David, with little effort, proceeds to eviscerate the entire Militech convoy, with the cyberskeleton and his Sandevistan. This guy's a true menace now. Rebecca and Falco can only watch in horror as he continues to pound them into the ground, getting ever closer to his breaking point as the skeleton pumps suppressions into him. David declaring to the last of his gang his plan to go get Lucy back and fuck up Faraday. Holy shit. Alright, on to the show's finale, episode 10. We're still in the desert, with Militech freaking out over David, unable to stop him, as the gang hits a beeline right for Arasaka Tower. David hits a quick power nap as Falco and Rebecca fend off the chasing Militech convoy. Fuck yeah, Falco, holy shit. Arasaka now starts heading straight down for them, as we see the elites kinda pissed at Faraday for the botched test, with them now realizing David is heading straight for them. Back to Faraday, still creaming over his rise from Fixer to Arasaka Elite. He gets a call by Kiwi, warning him of David's arrival, wanting blood, with Kiwi saying she's fucking off, but Faraday demanding her to pull up one more time if she wants her creds. We see David, younger, in the middle of the street as Falco drives on by, with Arasaka high on their tail and fucking him up. Another military suppressant dose is injected into David as he rises from the car and obliterates the Arasaka envoy with his crazy magnetic shit. David starts maniacally laughing as he frantically cuts to different chapters of his life, seeing his mom. Rebecca desperately tries to bring him back from his insanity, but after hearing him say,
You're right, Mom. You got my word. Arasaka all the way to the top.
she agrees to take him to the top. Rebecca says to Falco they gotta keep beelining to Arasaka Tower in the hopes Lucy could bring him back. We then see Kiwi meeting up with Faraday. All of a sudden she gets shot by him due to being a loose end and knowing about the cyberskeleton. Meanwhile, the gang does some crazy shit, continuing to send it right to Arasaka Tower as Max Tack starts hunting them down. Back to the Arasaka Elite, who are discussing how things have gone majorly out of control. And with David on the way, seeking blood, they may need to bring in the nuclear option. Adam fucking Smasher, holy shit. We see that Adam Smasher has arrived. David proceeds to clean house with Max Tack. Max Tack retreats, leaving David with one last suppressant. Kiwi, now on her deathbed, doxes Faraday's location to the gang, telling them to have at him. Faraday's henchmen report Kiwi's death to Faraday as the gang's car suddenly smashes into his jet, scaring the shit out of him, sending Rebecca and Falco to the bottom of Arasaka Tower as David stands on top of Faraday's jet. The Arasaka elites realize David is after Faraday and not them, whilst Adam aura farms in the background as they tell him it's showtime. David, having made it to the top of Arasaka Tower, calls out to his mother and injects his last suppressant as he jumps over the edge. Faraday, now in front of Arasaka, brags about his success, but they ain't feeling the same way, saying he fucked up with David and to leave the girl and go away. David suddenly pulls up, point blank in front of all of them, saves Lucy, and turns them all to sludge. Adam fucking Smasher pulls up to save the last elite, just in time. Faraday tries to brag again, and David rips his leg off. I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing, bro. He tries to plead to Adam Smasher to kill David, and Adam responds with,
Who the fuck are you?
I fucking love Adam. This guy is a true demon. David and Adam proceed to have a cold-ass face-off, chatting all kinds of shit to each other when Adam hits him with a gut check, causing David to hit the Sandy and fly off with Lucy. Now outside, Lucy pleads with David to bring him back. Her final idea, a kiss, managing to get him back. Lucy talks about her deep regret for this whole situation, but David knew it was the only way to save her. They rip down the tower, with Adam gunning them down the whole way. They crash down to the bottom, as Faraday flies off the tower as well and splats onto the floor. Falco and Rebecca are pinned down as David drops down with Lucy. Rebecca puts Lucy in the car when Adam Smasher crashes down right on top of Rebecca, crushing her. Fuck me, this thing is a monster. He folds Falco as David pops his Sandy, with Adam also using his, calling it
a rudimentary implant.
What? Adam laughs at David as his mind frails, whilst Lucy tries to hack into him. He rips that shit out of thin air, what? As Falco grabs Lucy and drives off. With David stopping Adam from blowing them up, Adam proceeds to rip David apart, as Lucy pleads with Falco to turn back, with him rejecting her, saying it's what David asked for, as well as him saying, David said,
Sorry. Wish we could go to the moon together.
As Adam stands over David's broken body, he laughs. Adam fires one final shot, ending the legend of David Martinez. We finish off on the moon, with Lucy having booked herself a trip there using the gig paycheck. She stands out on the lunar surface, and from a glimpse of her visor, spots David, the David she loved, as he disappears, leaving her alone, having been taken to the moon by the man she loved and lost, ending the show. This show gets 8 Cyber Psychos out of 13 shrooms.